What's up? Welcome to Nighttime at the Nerd Bar. Bringing you that Monday energy every week. We're here for all of you live. If you're joining us live, join us in the live chat. And if you're watching later, comment down below.
Give us an episode number.
That too. 85. We're on
Holy
episode
cow.
85.
Holy cow.
If you are a returning viewer, you may notice it's a new set. I'm in the middle trying to finish up moving. I got my new little pillow though. I'm excited for it. It looks very fun.
If I had a new set, you'd never know.
Right? So no more kitchen at this point, but still in the middle of that. So bear with me.
We should get you a matching screen.
All right, we'll be twinsies.
We can just have screens.
Right? No, I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. But yes, we will be talking about Reign of the Seven Spellblades. We got Overwatch. We're going to talk about One Piece live action as well, and some fun event that was recently happened that kind of had a One Piece theme. A little bit more than kind of, but we will talk about that too.
Not an official event, but a very fun one.
Yes. At this point, I don't think we didn't have any new news for y'all. But what you should do.
But who are you?
Exactly. I was getting to that because I was like, You should follow us over on NTATNB. We're getting all kinds of woo.
What day is it?
Monday. Yes. Go follow us on NTATNB on Twitter, and we post photos, video links, and just more content on there as well, in addition to what we're talking about on here. And our introductions. Hello, I am Carrie Lane.
And I'm Katie Cullen.
All right. So
the biggest Monday energy today.
Yes.
I tell you what.
But we are excited to be here.
We are indeed.
But we're going to be talking about anime. But first, Overwatch League is an anime.
You want to know who had big Monday energy? The San Francisco Shock this weekend. My God. Okay. So we had the first two rounds of play-ins for the U.S. region, and for the U.S. region, and then APAC had their last few season matches, and I'm a little sad with what happened with APAC because we did have O2 Blast in the running right up until the end. All they had to do was beat the Seoul Dynasty, and they would secure a spot in the playoffs, and they didn't. So unfortunately, they will not be going to. They're out, unfortunately, and that was our last Contenders team standing. So thank you to all of the Contenders teams who played this year, really rounded out the APAC region and did a lot, honestly. We're straight up killing it for a good long while. So congrats on O2 Blast for being the last one standing. We will miss you in this regular season. Of course, Contenders is Contenders, and Contenders continues, my goodness, to play. So keep an eye out for them. That is not the last you will see of these teams. I believe it's Contenders Australia that's playing right now. So depending on your time zone, catch those VODs. So we have the Hangzhou Spark and the Seoul Infernal. I'm pulling up my brackets to make sure I have all of this correct. Yeah, the Hangzhou Spark and the Seoul Infernal are confirmed to be going to playoffs. There are two more spots for APAC teams for the play-ins. So our first matches for the play-ins next week are going to be the Dallas Fuel versus the Shanghai Dragons and the Seoul Dynasty versus the Guangzhou Charge. I would say that only one of these is a foregone conclusion because much as I love the Guangzhou Charge, they had a gladiator style drop off this year. It's been a rough one. Fuel and Dragon should be a banger though. And for our first round of play-in matches that we had this weekend for NA, first of all, say goodbye to the New York Excelsior. They lost their game against the Washington Justice for the final spot in the play-ins, so their season has ended. It has been an absolutely buck-wild season for them, and now it is over. Currently, the two teams that we still have standing in the upper brackets are the Boston Uprising and the Toronto Defiant. And both of these teams have been in full take no prisoners mode. The Toronto Defiant, this meta really, really suits them extremely well. They are killing it on the current strategy. And the Boston Uprising is the Boston Uprising. They're good, you guys. They've got the pedigree, they've got the talent, and as long as Decay pops off, they do a very good job. And if Decay doesn't pop off, well, then Birdring will, which is kind of what happened to the London Spitfire. Our lower bracket matches for next week are going to be the San Francisco Shock versus the Vancouver Titans and the Washington Justice versus the London Spitfire. And guys, we got to talk about that Shock Spitfire match that we had on Saturday. We got to talk about that for a hot minute. Because I don't know what the San Francisco Shock were doing, but it wasn't Overwatch. Like they got boomed very, very hard, and we're gonna do a quick vocab refresher for the night. A C9, also known as a Charlie Niner, named after the Cloud9 team because they keep doing this, is when you step off the payload or the objective and consequently either lose the round or cause the other team to, when you lose the round, either when you're on attacking or the defending team, because you stepped off the payload, stepped off the objective. You weren't doing what you were supposed to do. The San Francisco Shock had two very egregious back-to-back C9s on the same map. Just the positioning was not great. They had a very, very rough time against the London Spitfire, and the London Spitfire have pretty much said, we're going to play Rein. We're just going to play the Reinhardt meta. We're going to go a little nuts on this. This is what we've been doing all season. It works better some places than others. They're also an extremely cohesive team in a way that not a lot of other teams are. A lot of teams have, they work well together, and a lot of players have pop-off potential. London Spitfire is just, the logo is the Spitfire jet. They are a well-oiled machine this year. So most people's bets are Boston and Toronto making the playoffs. I think that is a safe bet at this point, given that, one, there are two left in the upper bracket, and two, they've both been playing extremely well. Personally, I would love to see Toronto and London take it, because I think it would be a hell of a plot twist, and I would love to see how some of the APAC teams deal with London's very particular, very singular strategy. So we have another round of play-ins this coming Saturday. Keep an eye out for those. Again, I'm always happy to give you a team to root for. Man, this season's nuts. This season's nuts, and it ends at the end of the month.
I had my mute button as I was adding a banner for later. I have a very loud keyboard for anybody who's new here, but it works. It's the job done. But yes.
So awesome. Yeah. God help the San Francisco Shock, because man, ooh.
Trying to think of a fun tie-in. I'm like, well, things not going as planned, or
here's
surprises.
The thing. The London Spitfire really likes bullying people in chat. Speaking of bullying.
Aha, thank you. There you go.
Hey, I got you. Like, the psychological warfare in this one was something else. And speaking of psychological warfare.
Yay. We like fun transitions on this show. The other thing too, looking over the chat, yes, Giga Derek says big Monday energy. Fresh from the rain. Howdy, yes. Not raining here as much, but definitely being humid. And
it rained yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Like yesterday early morning we got some.
A little bit of it was a drizzle.
Before I got up.
Yeah.
I just saw people talking about it. I'm like, oh, people do things on Sunday morning. That's cool.
I was busy moving and packing and things. So,
That's fair. That's fair. Like, you were definitely doing things on Sunday morning.
I lost it. I was gonna say you can't. Yeah, this is the this is a nice little slice of moving something. Yeah, all kinds of bumps and bruises
from the box flaps.
That was a new coffee table that was on the couch. I went to reach for something else, and those are some sharp corners before you put that thing together. Yes.
Huh.
Right? I know. If there's a sharp edge, I will accidentally find it extremely well.
Found the pointy
In
bits.
corners.
They're over here.
Derek says East Coast weather. Ah, yes.
That'll do it.
Yep.
That'll do
All
it.
right. So we got
Spooky season. Gotta have the rain and the fog.
yes, I know. It's so nice. I'm excited for spooky season.
It's already
yes,
spooky season.
I know, but I can still be excited for it.
Yes. Yes.
The other thing we're excited for is this show, and I like they're hanging out in their secret hideout. Nobody died.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about this going into this episode. Because we talked a little bit last week about how watching anime, knowing how these things go, and kind of being trained for, oh, this is we're cementing our memories. What a memory of our friendship. What a great night. I want to remember this forever. Kind of sets you up for something bad happening next, the climax hitting, things going wrong. Like you had that nice little bright spot before everything goes to hell. So I was expecting things to get pretty crazy. And it's entirely possible that it will in the next 2 episodes, the final 2 episodes of this season. The thing is, what I forgot to take into account is that this show has 2 completely different sets of stakes. There's school stuff stakes, and there's murder cult stakes. And I was expecting murder cult stakes. And it's entirely possible that we will indeed get murder cult stakes within the next 2 episodes. So when we didn't have murder cult stakes for this and it was school stuff stakes, I kind of went, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Like, wait a minute.
I was prepared for the rock and roller coaster, and instead I'm on that little kiddie coaster that's always in the shape of a dragon and has one tiny hill and goes in a loop.
Yeah.
Like, differences in expectations. Not a bad thing. I always love the little dragon kiddie coaster, but also, like, I was expecting 2 loops and a corkscrew at 60 miles an hour. So
yes, they do kind of set us up to be that way. And then they're like, actually, it's just fighting right now. Though we do get the dark ass topic of how much do you love and respect me? And will you hurt yourself for me? What? No.
I mean,
werewolf buddy.
No toxic relationships in this show. No toxic codependency here. Nobody's got daddy issues.
What would you do for me? And I'm essentially your loyal servant person. It's like
I am your dog. Like, okay, cool, great. Literally. All right. I thought that was just a design choice.
I thought
it was a design choice. I really did love he must be half werewolf, otherwise he wouldn't have been able to register. And I'm like, does that make him a quarter wolf? If a werewolf is part wolf and part human, does that make him only like a quarter wolf if he's half? Is that how this works? I kind of need to stop questioning the metaphysics.
No, that's a very fair question.
Nothing makes sense.
How
does it work if you are a quarter wolf?
How mixed can people be and creatures be in this world as well? And like what counts as human or non-human too? Because it's like, no, totally. It's
man. So is a full werewolf? Is that we have the human form and the wolfman form? Is that I assume that's how this occurred, but also like that also means that in the flashback, her dad was looking out at a kid wrapped in a burlap sack and going, "I'm going to put it down."
Mm-hmm. It's just trash. Toss it out. Wow.
So when they make a big deal about demi-human rights in this world, yikes!
Major yikes, yes.
Because like we see the troll, we see the Garuda, we see a lot of animals, pardon me, demi-humans who cannot speak for themselves. The troll and a womb enthusiast. Yep, there you go. The troll being the exception, as the troll was given the ability, given brain surgery into human speech. Yeah. This is the first time we've had a demi-human that's like, no, that is very, very much a people most nights of the month.
Mm-hmm.
So like, or at least in a human form, most nights of the month. And we're going to stand here and say that this too is an animal that doesn't deserve rights. Like, it's very much and we're going to go with the real world parallels here. You can't say that this group of people doesn't deserve rights because this one does, because guess what, friends? They're coming for all of us. So, yeah, like, where do you draw those lines? And the line that this society has evidently drawn is just like, if you're not completely human, good night, everybody. Doesn't matter. It's like,
Yep.
you can't really.
What
They've
did
just
we?
decided no for everyone. And it's like, well, what are we proposing? Divvying up which demi-humans get it and which don't? Like, that's just as messed up.
Yep.
It's all messed up.
What did we think though of Katie bringing the troll back to their hideout, which I think is cool. It makes sense because where else are you gonna go?
Oh my god,
And
yes.
it's like we have a new bodyguard person. Awesome, cool. But we have
Remind me
somebody
what they
who's
named him? Was it like Marcus?
Marcos.
Mark. Yeah,
I
okay.
think it's Marcos. Yeah, Marcos.
That was close.
Yeah. But then the other name is escaping me at the moment. Is the other the
Hand
person who's-
eyes.
Yes.
Her. She.
No, I was like
That one.
them.
No, I know who you're talking about.
Yep.
Senpai brain surgery.
Yes,
But
I
I
was like,
don't remember her name.
The
The fact that she's like, yes, I lost a hand. I turned it into its own life form. Now I have my own cousin it. Like,
that was kind of cool.
Messed up. It's absolutely messed up, but also a very, very her thing to do, you know?
Yes. I was looking, where's my upperclassman?
Just like, why the heck not?
Oh, Milligan.
That's right.
Female fourth-year student that is a supporter of demi-human civil rights in her own unusual way.
Sure.
And
the sun is slightly warm.
Thank you, Gigaderic. Yes, Milligan.
Yeah, Milligan.
It's funny because I was like, it's not Michigan. It's not Michelin. It's like... But that's like the sound connections I'm hearing. Yes.
It's not Michigan. It's not Superior. It's definitely Erie, but that's not it.
Derek says, need a hand, round of applause, high five, checking all the boxes here. Yes, we do like puns on this show as well.
I already took the cousin it.
Yeah. I thought that was cool.
No,
though,
the thing.
But it does lend a hand to how Milligan really is even experimenting on herself too, of like, I made it autonomous essentially. And you're like, or, actually it's a little more symbiotic. They work together.
Yeah.
But that was
I saw
really
an opportunity to make it its own little life form. Why?
Yeah.
Because I could.
Yeah.
Okay.
But okay. Yeah.
That's handy. It comes in handy.
And then also in Milligan's own weird way, respects Katie, but wants to ride those coattails as well.
Oh, yeah.
I was all, ooh, that also is like, icky. No.
I can see it though. Like, all right, I went as far as I could with mine and it didn't work. And the success story here is hers. And she's a first year. So I'm going to give her this space to work and I'm going to support her. And then with any luck, like she'll pull me up after her. Because we're both after the same thing. We just think a little differently.
Different methods.
I do the brain surgery thing. She does the kindness. And by our powers combined.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
I don't know, man. That's oil and water, babe.
Oh my. Yes. What else did we have of
the three-way duel going down into the second level of the labyrinth, which is a forest in and of itself.
I did like the because I was gonna say I think we keep calling her Michaela, but it's like Mishla.
Chella is how they say it.
Okay, I'll go with Chella because they're skipping the Michela.
Yeah.
And so it's just Chella, but like, so with her, I loved her explanation. Like, just think of it as its own world, and that just does make it a lot more sense. There you go. All right.
It's starting to remind me of Overlord.
Yeah.
And
it's
here
like
we have this
universe.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I find that interesting, but I also think like they laid that out, like the mystical fauna down there are different. There's a whole other ecosystem. And so far we've used it as a Dragon Ball Z fight scene background. So I'm hoping that what they laid down starts affecting our little fight. I'm not sure it will. Again, we've still got 2 more episodes and I'm not sure which roller coaster I'm on right now.
Well, Milligan also said everywhere you go, be sure to be on the lookout. Like, don't let your guard down. So
yeah.
Yeah. Kikadare says Nazareth called it.
Mhm,
Yes.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But just the whole, this is under a school? Like, yeah, Pete, we're having a day.
Yeah.
Week, month, year.
Pete was pretty minimal in this episode for sure. Like barely. I didn't feel much of a presence. And then we have Guy being it kind of made me scared that there's a troll there, but everybody's kind of like, yo, yes, we get it, but let's work on that response.
Yeah.
Hello, other person in the chat. Hello. Show Gibbs says, FYI, the season is 15 episodes.
Really? I thought it was 13.
All right. That's nice because we're at 10 out of 15. So
maybe we
nice
can have
left.
murder cult stakes.
Right?
Maybe we can have murder cult stakes.
For anybody else, I feel we've said it before, but just in case anyone new, we are only covering the anime. So please, no light novel, manga, no spoilers ahead of what is on the anime. So thank y'all. And then hello, new people joining. And yes, welcome. What else was the other kind of crazy things? I think.
Who is this random human that joined and went, what if a three-way duel? Like, whomst?
I think yes, because I think he was the dude who fought the other, like, I'm going to be the strongest kid. Right. And he just kind of then was definitely a whomst are you person because he just showed up. And I had a moment going, do we know him? Should we have met him? Does he even go here? Like,
he's not about to make a cake full of sunshine and rainbows. That's for sure.
Kiki Derek says there's always room for murder cult.
You have to use it correctly, though. Yeah. Like, if you just wedge your murder cult in there, it tends to take over the story, and it's not flavored correctly. And there's a balance when you have a murder cult involved.
Yeah.
Me out here like I'm mixing cocktails. If you just dump it in there, you have to layer it carefully. You pour it over the back of the spoon, so the murder cult is its own little layer. Like I know anything about bartending.
We barely caught his name, I think.
I don't remember him either. He's not important. But like, I'm sure he's important, but he's not important.
He just got the hots for Nanao and wants to fight her. I mean, I'm just saying he has the hots for it. But no, he just wants to fight her probably because... Yeah, that's true. But this is a challenge that nobody's been able to encounter as of yet. So it makes sense that they're like, ooh, a challenge. Let me show off my skills.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Oliver specifically upending him right at the beginning, like, no, you're going to fight me. Mm-hmm. We never agreed on whose opponents would be whose. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was me still expecting one set of stakes and getting another, but the murder is under the tequila. 3 tequila floor. 1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila. Let the bodies hit the floor.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a labor joke. There was just something about Oliver's duel with this guy that just kind of slid right off my brain. Probably because in the other corner we had a quarter wolf, but just this guy being so full of himself and, oh, you're doing everything by the book. Oh, well, the book just cut your cheek open. And now we're getting to the real duel. I'm like, okay, cool, fine, great. I should care. I don't care. There's a wolf in the corner. I care about the wolf and I care about Chella. Can we go back over there? And then the animation budget gave out and the wolf had some really weird facial expression. I can't be the only one who noticed that, right?
I don't think I recalled, but I also want to know more of like Stace's, her, bratty obsession of, oh yeah, well, I'm going to be better than you. And I'm like, girl, you are such a little brat. Like, calm down. And
I think in much the same way that Richard was always compared to her because their families were close growing up, I think Stace is meant to be like Chella's replacement if anything happens. Like, we had the flashback with her, it was either her dad or her uncle, paying attention to everyone except for her, and her talking about meeting her real dad and just saying and telling Chella, like, I am more than your replacement. I'm more than... So I really do think she was raised as like, Chella is our shining star. Chella is our competent child. Chella is going to inherit the family. And if anything happens to her, you're the spare.
Yeah.
So being raised in that shadow, and like it's not Chella's fault, but Stace is right in that Chella can't understand that because that wasn't Chella's experience at all.
Yeah.
Like, I hesitate to say, like, oh, she had a golden child experience. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, but also, like, if she's the heir for the family, then yeah, it would have been very different than, the heir, the spare, and that guy over there, you know?
Yeah.
If the adults make everything revolve around this one kid, then all the other kids caught up in the orbit are going to be feeling it. Stacy's dad, who makes us kind of sad. Stacy's dad is a dick.
Yeah. This poor kid.
No,
Like,
thank you.
Yeah.
I can also see why she would want, and I cannot remember his name, but like her companion being like, no, I want this one.
It's like just Faye.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It's Faye. Just being like, I want this one. This one's mine, as opposed to her dad saying, well, we'll get you a better one from one of the neighboring families. We'll get you an actual, and her being like, nah, this one.
My choice. Yes, it's exactly.
Might have been one of the only choices she was able to make for herself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and she can't take it out on her dad, and she can't take it out on the family, but she certainly has a sanctioned way to take it out on Chella now.
Yes.
So it's not healthy, but we don't have therapists at this school. We have murder faculty. So
and she also takes it out on Faye as well. So
yeah,
there's that. I'm kind of obviously we're not going to solve her problems in an episode or two, but I'm kind of hoping that next episode, Chella, they'll be able to figure out some kind of like, whoops, like maybe that's not the right course of action.
Yeah, like I don't think this is going to go away in an episode or two, but I'd love to see over the course of the story things mellowing out a little bit on her end, and maybe her being able to come into her own while she's at school instead of constantly being compared and being the understudy for Chella. It's like, shift your focus, do your own thing, which is hard to do when you've been forced to be in this person's orbit for your entire life. But like, you're at a school now.
Yep.
It's doable.
Mm-hmm. Or just to find more of her own self-identity. Yeah, it's like, okay, you've been compared to this other person. You have a new space that you can make a name for yourself there on your own. Like,
yeah.
Maybe
not in your alchemy class with your weird-ass uncle, but aside from that, we can't have therapy and a plot. Just once, I want the plot to be therapy. Just once. I want the show where, like, they come back from the quest, they've saved the world, whatever. Now let's just get, like, a metric ton of therapy.
Yeah. Nope,
and we can tell the action-oriented part of the story through flashbacks and whatnot. Yep. But also, like, can we get some therapy up in here? Y'all need it.
Anything else for this episode?
I think that's most of it. I do kind of want to touch on Nanao telling Chella, like, you're using your kindness the wrong way.
Ah, yes, because it's one of those, you are not. She can recognize the desire to fight in Stace and even Faye, probably.
Yeah,
and as a fighter, as a warrior, she gets that, and so I'm glad she called out Nanao. Not that Nanao's ever like, I know everything in the world. Also, we have Nanao learning, trying to get to practice more of her magic.
Yeah.
Though getting interrupted, so.
Continually. All the time. Eventually we'll get there, but like, dang.
Yes.
But yeah, just, you can be concerned for someone's well-being, but also like, they've put all of their all into this fight. The shonen protagonist way of looking at things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, Chella is a lovely human being, but also definitely is lacking in some perspective because of the way she was raised. And that's life. You'll never have all perspectives. What you've experienced, what you've been through, everything shapes you. So
yeah.
Now being able to see that perspective because of her experience and going, I need you to kind of tilt your head sideways and look at that again. Great. Now let's keep fighting.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's it for Reign of the Seven Spellblades. We'll cover next episode next week. But speaking of fighting, boom, One Piece live action.
It was so good. We're going to be talking spoilers.
Yes.
For the show, for that. We might go into a little manga spoilers just because I have a little context in terms of compare contrast, but like not crazy manga spoilers.
So
because
don't worry, we'll put this
I got up
when
through
we get
Thriller
there.
Bark and stopped. So
Got it. Well, I'm so glad you liked it because anybody who's joining later, I know I was watching it. Oh, well, side note on that, Drago says, are you going to be doing live interviews again? Yes, absolutely. If you know people that you think should come on here, tag us on a post with them on Twitter. And we just, it's not a not doing it, just hasn't happened just recently. But yes, if you're new here,
scheduling thing. Yes. And then also keep in mind that we are still in the middle of the WGA SAG-AFTRA, and I think possibly IATSE at this point.
And some of the games were getting there too. So
I think they're voting on whether or not games are going to be struck soon. And keep in mind that for members of the WGA and SAG-AFTRA, they cannot promote any struck material. Yeah. And that is anything
anime
produced.
Is a little tricky though, because then that's international. Yeah.
Yeah, that's anything produced by the AMPTP. And so there is very much a question of, is this, it's a Netflix show. So it's like, is One Piece considered struck material? Which, yeah, it would be. It's Netflix. So writers, actors, etc. cannot talk about that. So there's a lot of weird gray area and a lot of having to make sure that things are okay to be talked about. And it differs from show to show, media to media, person to person. So yes, we would love to do live interviews. And also we're in a really tricky time for it. And the last thing we want to do is ask someone to cross the picket line, as it were. So we also, as interviewers, need to do our due diligence and need to be careful. So yes, we'd love to, and also things are tricky right now.
Yes.
Support SAG-AFTRA, support WGA, support IATSE, support your writers, support your actors. They deserve a fair contract. They deserve to be paid for their work. Full stop. We support the strikes.
Well, speaking of this, Drago Gaming says, I'd love for Justin Briner to do a live interview. You know what?
Me too.
If you go check out voice actor interviews on this channel, there might be an interview there. So if you are interested in more voice actor interviews, check it out here on the Fanversation channel. We have an entire playlist of voice actor interviews and One Piece voice actor interviews. So if you're a One Piece fan, which let's get back into that, go check that out. So yes, if we get into spoilers, we'll put this up and then we'll be this when we're not. So in case you haven't watched the show yet. So yeah, I started it.
If you haven't watched the show yet, put us on mute.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched the live action Netflix show yet, put us on mute because it is going to be full spoilers for this noise.
Okay, there we go. We'll get into
there. Yeah.
It's just, well, it's hard to talk about it without getting into like specifics in a way.
We're just going to go for it right now. So, we have these lower thirds.
Yeah.
Put the video on mute and check back in a few minutes for the recommendations if you have not seen it yet, because y'all, it's so much fun.
Oh my
Highly recommend watching
Absolutely love it. Mm-hmm.
And watching things on streaming services is not crossing the picket line. It's not. They're recommending that you still keep doing the thing because it's supporting properties that were worked on by actual people and not AI.
Mm-hmm. I will need to share it on our Twitter, but we met Zoro actually.
Yeah, we did. That's right.
He was at the Knights of the Zodiac premiere because he's the lead in that, which go check out those interviews on our channel here. Unfortunately, we were not able to get an interview with him then, but I'll post a picture because I had a moment where I went, oh, we met him.
It's like, wait, it's the guy. Yeah. Yes. That is the night I interviewed Sean Bean, though. That was
we got some great ones though as well. So it's red carpet things. They run out of time real fast. Speaking of characters and actors, I think casting, I I will preface this with I have only seen like 2 One Piece movies and like by osmosis of what I've seen of friends posting. So this is coming from someone who's only really seen the movies. So I have a general idea about some things, but not specific. But as a not familiar person, I thought casting was phenomenal because I definitely later was looking at all the videos of like, what do people look like in the show and the changes? And my goodness, some people I'm like, I think it looks better in live action. But it's just the style of art, and which is not my first choice.
Yeah, art, Oda's art and character design is very exaggerated, and that is very much one of the things about One Piece where you either love it or hate it. There aren't a lot of people who are neutral on the character design aspect of things.
Yeah.
The casting was absolutely phenomenal.
Knocked out of the park.
Just Inaki lives and breathes Luffy. He is unbelievably good.
He's adorable.
Everyone was so good. Everyone embodied their parts. Everyone did did the training and their own stunts. The human who plays Sanji not only took like kickboxing and did all of the martial arts training to be able to do all of that midair kicks and whatnot. Nice. He also took some culinary lessons and cooked for his castmates.
That's cool.
It's I need to go dig up more of the behind the scenes stuff, but
I have send them to me, please, and we should share them if we can, link wise, because I definitely was devouring behind the scenes stuff on Instagram as well of like what are cool moments and everything. And what was the other thing on casting? The other thing too I love about the guy for Luffy is I'm like absolutely I understand why people would follow this kid. Like, there is something about him, and this person embodies that so well that you're like, all right, this kid, at least life will never be boring. They all are like, all right, let's go.
Just incredible, because what you need in a leader is someone who gets people. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of skills you need in a leader, quite frankly, and a lot of people wind up in leadership roles when they don't have them. But understanding people, understanding how they work, and understanding how they work best is a critical skill for a leader, because otherwise you wind up with an unhappy workforce, a hostile work environment, lack of loyalty. Like, you really need to know how people work. And this portrayal of Luffy really highlights that emotional intelligence. Like, God bless this kid. He very obviously doesn't like Luffy is never going to have like a college education or anything. It's not an intelligence score sort of thing. Yeah. It's very much a charisma score sort of thing. Oh yeah. He is so smart about people and so good at just watching them and then sussing out how they work, how they think, why they think the way they do. Like, it's such a fantastic skill to have. It's so important. And the fact that this really highlighted, like, it's this weird, disparate group of people, but this guy's the linchpin. And then they all start gelling around him. And it works so
he's also like the only person in any of their lives who is like, what is your dream? And he's a person that we all need in our life who never says that's a dumb dream, it's unattainable, or any kind of negativity. Goes, okay, let's make it happen. Yeah. Like, yes, we all need that person who goes, absolutely, let's make it happen. Not I don't know about, like, no. He's all like, all right, we're going to do it.
He hears the dream and then says, oh yeah, I believe in you. You can do that. And you believe him.
Yes.
Like, yes, absolutely.
What was the other casting shout out? I was gonna say Mihawk. My goodness. Woo. But the other thing with that too is if you like that actor, he's in Vagrant Queen, which is a really fun sci-fi show. It was only one season, unfortunately, but that is a similarly anime vibe it's not based on anime, but like over the top, quirky sci-fi. Highly recommend it. That was a show I watched a while ago, but I saw that he was a Vagrant Queen when I was like, oh, yay! And yes, I was like, oh, I liked him. He was great. Also, another person with like charisma that you're like, oh, just drips. Like, yes, everybody. I felt like that was the other thing too. Is it's everybody. I felt 110% or whatever. Past the line. embody their characters without it being corny, and they're not overacting. It's like everybody believed the world they were in and the characters they're in, because that is that really fine line with an anime live action that like it can go too corny or not committed enough. Because we all love anime because it is a bit over the top. And with real people, that can be that really uncanny valley where you're just like, ooh, but I think this one nailed it. And I would also say too, I watched it with a friend who had no idea anything about One Piece, and she absolutely also loved it too. So that's nice to hear that people who are like, I don't know anything about this show, is like, yes, great, love it.
I'm seeing a lot of people saying, oh yeah, I watched it with my parents who have never done an anime and they loved it. So things like that. So it's like, yeah, no, I'm here for it. It's fun.
Yeah.
Mother's Basement did a video, just dropped yesterday. And of course, I respect Mother's Basement opinions. They oftentimes align with mine for most things. So it's always fun to watch his videos. And he described the acting as somewhere between Broadway musical and WWE kayfabe. And he's right. He's so right. Yeah, it's like everyone's in it to win it. But because everyone's in it to win it, and the sets are so lived in, and the snails are practical effects. The snail phones are puppets.
Yes.
They're practical effects. It's so good. It's all of it kind of contributes to, yes, it's a very heightened reality, but your brain clicks in and goes, this is the reality we're in. Yes, obviously all of the fishmen are people in prosthetics and whatnot, but like also they're fishmen. Yeah, of course they are. They totally are. It very much, I hesitate to say it utilized the fourth wall because that brings in very specific implications. But like going to see live theater, there's just something different about, I am willing to believe that we went and saw Les Mis on Tuesday for like the third time ever. So it's like, I'm willing to believe this is a street in revolutionary France. I'm willing to believe that this is actually happening. There's that bit where your brain just goes, everyone here is so into it. Yeah, of course this is happening. Of course this is real. Isn't this? I'm into this story. And One Piece has that same theatrical quality of everyone is so in it and in it to the same level of intensity that it's like, of course this is happening. Of course I'm here for this story. Occasionally there's something that's like, all right. But for the most part, it's like, no, I'm here. This story is batshit insane and I love it. Let's go.
And speaking of storytelling, I appreciated and enjoyed how they take you on, like, here's their plot. Ooh, here's those backstories on characters. And then we're waiting for here's that other person you've been wondering about. And here's a little bit more. Oh shit, here's more. And you're just like, oh, I just thought that unfolding was very nice too. It's not taking too long to get that info, because some shows do that where you're like, can we, like, we needed to know sooner, because that was the other thing too. It's like you had me at the first of like, okay, what's happening here? Context, please.
And there's, as someone who, again, did the anime, but only up to a certain point, like I kind of got up to the time skip and then fell off and then was listening to all of my friends still be really into it. So still kind of kept up with things. I didn't know who Garp was because I never got that far. So what this show does with its writing, I was watching it with my roommate and she described it as One Piece Kai. And she's right. She's so right. For those unfamiliar, Dragon Ball Z at one point was recut to take most of the filler and a few things that were still story relevant and they shouldn't have cut them. But to take most of the filler out, was redubbed, was tightened up. So like if you didn't want to sit down and watch 5 minutes on Namek last for 10 episodes, you could sit down and watch this, still the same version, but the filler's gone, it's tightened up, we took another pass at the story. This is not quite that. It's an adaptation, but it also adds things in here at the beginning where they make sense, instead of multiple hundreds of chapters down the line when they were revealed, when they were come up with, etc. So like the Warlords of the Sea, way down the line. But they brought it up here because it's an important bit of world building. I had not met Garp at the time that I dropped off. So I had no idea who he was. I had no idea about the familiar relationship. I had no idea he was Luffy's grandpa. So like, oh, okay. So, and I had Kobe and what's his name? The other guy, the blonde guy, whose name I'm forgetting.
Oh,
They
helmet hair. He was great too.
Helmeppo. They
Yes.
disappear from the story after Luffy leaves that marine base. Yeah, no, we all feel the Namek pain. Look, 5 minutes on Namek is shorthand for a reason. They disappear from the story.
Mhm.
And they kind of get it told in bits and snippets of the manga up until they reappear again, way the hell down the line.
Yeah.
The fact that we stuck with them and that we are getting to see things from Garp's point of view, things from the Marine's point of view, that we are still following these two characters and their parallel development to Luffy starting off on his trip is so well structured. I think it really adds another dimension here because we're seeing two very idealistic young boys take very different paths and get some real hard reality checks along the way and still not letting it break them and still keeping to who they are. Like, yeah, the story was told through manga chapter covers. Oda likes to do that. Oda is the person who writes One Piece. He likes to do stories told through individual images as the covers of manga chapters, and some of them are just funny and some of them are extremely ridiculously plot relevant. But it's the sort of thing where, yeah, you have to pay attention to those too and keep in mind what's happening in those week to week. So the fact that this show was able to take that story and use it to parallel Luffy's, like, and weave it back in places, incredibly well done. Like, I really appreciate that they took things from further down the line and wove them in here where they made sense. Took in the world building that wouldn't happen for hundreds of chapters and went, okay, but it is still how the world works, so let's talk about it. Let's put it in here. Of course there's 7 warlords. Of course one of them is this guy. Can I just say that one of my favorite things in the show was the old man conversation between Zeph and Garp.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that so much.
They're
that
great.
Was so good.
Great actors too. Of like, I appreciated having various age characters too, and like they're so cool. Because sometimes if you have an older character, they can be like, eh. I'm like, no, these dudes were cool.
Everyone in this show has lived a life. Like, maybe not the Marines who are very clearly extras and just running around the background. Like, okay, they are meant to be rank and file. They're filling out space for the audience. Like, yes, this is a populated ship, but these are like the 5 people on it that matter. And you can tell from the hairstyles. It's anime, baby. But yeah, I love that we have all these characters where it's like, oh yeah, they have their own backstories. Every member of Shank's crew, you go, you are an individual person, and I want to know where you came from, how you joined this crew, and what you plan on doing when you hit the Grand Line. Just everyone.
With one arm tied behind your back.
Yeah. They're there for one purpose. They're there to serve a purpose in the story.
Yes.
But they're more than just that. It's not just, oh, Shanks' crew needed a sharpshooter. It's like, yes, but I want to know the story of Yasopp the Great. Like, you got a kid. Did you forget about that, buddy? Did you know?
Yep.
Just everyone in this show has a life that they've lived up to the point where we see them, main character or not. And that is very, very difficult to do in an ensemble cast that's already stinking huge. So, yeah, I am, let's go. I want to hear all these stories. This is just so well
hoping
done.
For more. I'm like, come on now. Come on, Netflix. Yes. Of like,
I saw a thing that said that the script was written, but that production hasn't started. And I'm like, that's fair. Pay people more.
Very fair. It's more the Netflix has a history of not continuing very well liked fan shows. Though I did see a thing that One Piece is now like the highest viewed Netflix show ever. Because then Wednesday was the last one, and now it's One Piece. Which with One Piece fans and then new people checking out, that tracks. I'm like,
And then this is for people who have heard about One Piece and then looked at 1,000 chapters, 1,000 episodes, and gone, I can't do that. This is your 8-episode accessible jumping on area. Like, hey,
Yep.
here's a sampler. Do you like it? Do you like the characters? Do you like the world building? Great. Let's continue on. It's also going to need a much higher budget if they keep going, because then we get into Chopper and Frankie and Robin and Brooke and the people who are just... Robin's not going to need CGI all the time, but like... Brooke is
There's a lot more.
bones, you guys.
Yeah.
He is a walking skeleton with an afro. How are you going to do that? Your budget's going to need to be nuts. There's already a push to make Chopper a puppet. Like just full Dark Crystal,
Practical.
Labyrinth,
that'd be
Muppet it
amazing.
up. Yes, that
And
would
not
be
CG.
the best way to do it.
Yeah.
And it would fit in so extremely well with this world that they've already built.
Yes.
Let Chopper be a puppet.
I will admit, I am probably one of those people that I am more inclined to watch the anime after watching this, going, ooh, I like this, and I get a sampling of the story because, you know, it's a visual medium. If you don't love the art, it is a bit like, ooh. But I am more inclined now to go check it out. And I saw a thing online called One Pace, and that's a way to streamline your viewing experience and cut out like 157 hours. And I was like, okay, maybe this would be a nice way to check it out.
Maybe. There is some filler, but there is some very fun stuff in there.
No,
and I enjoyed the Thriller Bark arc, and also, yikes!
Yes,
there's some yikes in the Thriller Bark arc, you guys.
Charles says season 2 would only go into Alabasta.
Alabasta, yeah.
Alabasta, yeah.
But still, even just looking down the line, like, how?
I think, you know,
and then you got to cast them.
Yes.
And there is a high standard of casting.
So far, so good, though. So.
Oh my God, yes. That's why the bar is super high, and they have been pole vaulting it every time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm more likely to pick the manga back up.
Both of us. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more likely to pick the manga back up because, like, oh, thousands of chapters, and I'm like, and they're like 12 pages a piece, and I read quickly.
Oh yeah, nice.
Maybe it's a maybe. Who knows, man?
All right,
that's a commitment still.
Well, if
yes,
you have checked out One Piece,
watch it.
Let us know your thoughts down below in the comments. 100%. I would definitely recommend it to anime fans and non alike. Of just if you want a fun, like that was the thing too. I was excited that it's fun, it's adventure, there's heart, like it's all the things you want. Of like, I want to sit down and be entertained. Yes, all the above. So very much yes.
The one thing we didn't touch on. Can we talk about how absolutely fucking perfect Buggy was?
Yes, you know, actually, I was gonna say that was somebody that like I have seen so many fun TikTok videos that people are like, ooh, Zoro, Sanji, yes, Buggy. Like there's
the Buggy thirst is extremely real. But also, like, again, talking about the pitch perfect casting, I had initially been misinformed. Someone told me, like, oh yeah, they got Brett Dalton to play him. And I lost my fucking mind because I watched a lot of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It was not Brett Dalton. It was another, I can't remember his name. It's
another
like
Agents
Zane,
of S.H.I.E.L.D. guy. Yep.
Another person from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. who played basically knockoff Booster Gold in the best way. And showed on S.H.I.E.L.D. that he was very, very capable of that fast-talking, zany energy. And Buggy is just that fast-talking, zany energy, but evil clown. And it's fantastic. Like, he's intimidating, but surprise, shitheads had me laughing so hard. Yeah. He was wonderful. He was wonderful. I'm glad they expended the budget to keep him. He was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Can't wait for
Jeff
the
Ward
most...
is his name. Jeff Ward.
That's right.
Yes. No, I think I had seen him on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I had that like, he looks familiar. Oh, thank you, Derek. And then also Charles Darcy says, producers did say season 2 scripts are done, just waiting for strike to resolve. Yep. for production to begin. Yep.
Yep.
I
yeah.
think same of like I liked him in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I was looking at him going like that guy feels very familiar. Like there's something in his eyes, and then it's like
It's madness.
yes. But like
But
he
he's
grew
so
on me as a character too that I also was like, all right, this guy looks cool. And I'm like, you know, he is kind of attractive. And like, but there's something about his personality. And then yeah, he starts off scary and like very like ugh, when we first meet him in the scenario, but then it just becomes comedic. And then it really is actually funny. And I do appreciate all the thirsting on TikTok because they're just funny of different people reacting and so much fun stuff there.
Buggy is another one where we had an arc for him. We got to see, him wrecking this town and then getting beat by the Straw Hats and getting yeeted into oblivion. And then he was another one where his story was told through the covers of the manga chapters. And so that's kind of, okay, that is how he got the rest of his body back. And that's how he met up with Alvida and how, like, things like that. So, yeah, I'm here for, we're just keeping him. We're just keeping him in the loop. I don't know if they knew what they had when they cast him. I don't know if they knew that he was going to be that popular. I know that Tumblr made a massive marketing mishap around him.
Oh.
The blogging. Tumblr does what Tumblr wants. It's its own thing. Yes. Social media platform Tumblr was paid to promote One Piece. Okay. As you do sometimes, Sure. Got to keep the lights on. And so for a while, like up at the top, they have, your feed and then For You and then a few other things. For a while, they had a rotating thing up there where it was Luffy and then it was Usopp and then it was Sanji. Like they just had a category and it was the character tag and would pull up Tumblr posts with them. But for a while, it was just, all right, this is at the top of my dash. And then like the day before the show dropped, they put Buggy on the side of the dashboard. But it was that like really creepy picture where he's crouching on the barrel and kind of hunched over. And this was before anyone had seen the show. So it's like you have all of these different characters, and the one that you've put on our dash, where we only have the image to judge, is the creepy clown in the homicide pose. Like, people with no context and who had no idea what One Piece was are basically just like, guys, how do I get rid of the creepy clown? I don't like it.
Yeah, and if you don't like clowns.
Now that the show's out, like, yeah, he's hysterical. He was so much fun. But that's in motion. That's the performance. That's the inflection and tone. You don't get
how
that.
He talk. Yeah,
amazing. Yep. But you don't get that from a ping of him hunched over on the side of your dashboard staring at your posts. Like, you had every other character that you could have done that with. And funny. You picked Buggy. Or Netflix picked Buggy and made Tumblr do it. I don't know what the terms of that contract were.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a few days of, what do you mean there's a clown? Why is there? Oh, my ad block took care of the clown for me. Or I'm on mobile. What clown? So it just is a very interesting few days.
Nice.
That was, great show, great character, terrible marketing campaign.
Well, I feel this a bit bleeds into stuff you should check out because busy moving, so I didn't watch anything else really besides One Piece pretty much. And I'm like, yes. So go check out One Piece live action.
Oh my God.
All
yes.
Right. Yes.
Like I said, I went to go see Les Mis. If you're in the Los Angeles area, Les Miserables is playing at the Pantages. It's amazing. You should see it. It made me cry a lot, per usual. It's called The Miserables. Of course, it made me cry. But no, if you've never seen Les Mis, it is an absolutely fantastic musical. Highly recommend. The closest you're going to get to a music theater experience is to a live experience is unfortunately going to be the movie they released a few years ago with the
well, someone's not versed with it. I didn't hate it. I liked it, but I have no comparison. I haven't seen it live, so
There's a YouTube channel called Sideways, and I love them. They're wonderful. They do a lot of music analysis. And they talk about the behind the scenes for the music in the Les Mis movie. And basically, everything was done upside down and backwards. And there's a reason that people don't listen to most of that soundtrack on Spotify, you know? The songs not all of them. There are some songs as done in that movie that hold up extremely well. But a lot of the songs as done in that movie, like, oh, it fits that it's a very dramatic, emotional scene and bad things are happening, but it's also like, it's not very well sung. Guys.
I've heard that. Yeah.
And everyone kind of goes, oh, Russell Crowe. It's like, he was not the problem. Again, watch the Sideways video on the music of Les Mis.
It is the one with Hugh Jackman.
It is the one with Hugh Jackman, yes.
All right.
So, Les Mis is wonderful. Watch One Piece. Yay. Went to a One Piece yacht party.
Yes. So okay, there you go.
Support small event companies because they do amazing, amazing things. This was put on by a company called That's Dope Entertainment. Mm-hmm. And it was I want to say maybe 100 people on the yacht. If that many. Maybe 100 people on this yacht, which was definitely enough people on the yacht. Catered some really cute. They had like, it was almost like Greek in that, they do the shredded meat and they mold it. Mm-hmm. But they molded it around like little skewers in the shape of bones. So it was that very anime look of like the hunk of meat on the bone. They had really, really cute catering. Honestly, there was music. There was a cosplay contest that was absolutely phenomenal. It was a cosplay contest and fashion show, and it was great. Everyone went all out. Like, the event was fantastic. A++ would do again. That's Dope Entertainment has been putting on some frankly amazing parties in the LA area. So also give them a follow and check out whatever's coming up next, because I plan on going. It's always fun.
Yes. And then to see photos, Katie, they can see them on your page.
Yes, I did put photos up for once in my life. So there are photos of the yacht party on my Instagram. And I assume this is the sign out, so I should do the whole thing, yes? Yes, you can follow me all of the social medias, including that Instagram, and also, as I have outed myself as a Tumblrina, on Tumblr as well, at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. I'm also on YouTube and Twitch under that same handle because branding. The latest YouTube video is the one that's been up for about a week, and it is a reaction to the final Five Nights at Freddy's movie trailer, in which we have big Tuesday energy when we record, and I go slightly ballistic, and it's a lot of fun. I kind of hit the roof on that one. It was great. I am also a co-host on Silver Screams, which is a horror-themed YouTube channel, which is definitely in season right now. So we talk about all sorts of fun things. We also do reaction videos to trailers. If you would like to see me jump out of my skin, genuinely, I have a hell of a startle reflex sometimes. The Halloween trailers are particularly good for that.
All right. And then real quick before mine, I will also remind everybody, again, follow us on NTATNB on Twitter, as well as here. Make sure to follow the Fanversation channel. Click the subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up. And again, if you're into One Piece or if you're just into voice acting as well, we have an entire playlist here on this channel. And you all can find me online. There we go. Woo! At Carrie D Lane, KARIDLANE, across all social media platforms. Just easy to do that. I also have a YouTube channel there, but nothing terribly brand new because a lot of it's here of doing interviews. So, or on my social media platforms. So go check those out. Thank you everybody who joined us in the live chat. Awesome. Happy to have you all here. And thank you to everybody who joined and watched later. Leave a comment down below on what are you watching this spooky season, and have you watched One Piece? What are your thoughts? Be sure to, be kind with your comments. No, we're not lashing out stuff. And yes, well, we hope you have a good rest of your week whenever you are watching this. And again, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.